What if someone told you that right now, as you're watching this, millions of tiny monsters are crawling across your skin, swimming in your lungs, and floating in the water you drink? That's not the scary part. The scary part is that we just found 200,000 new ones, and 90% of them are completely alien to science. This video is about the largest discovery in ocean history. A discovery that rewrites everything we thought we knew about life, death, and the invisible war happening in every drop of seawater. By the end, you will never look at the ocean the same way again. Because these viruses aren't just killers. They might be the reason you're alive. Imagine taking a single glass of seawater. Just one glass. Inside that glass, there are more viruses than there are people on Earth, 50 times over. For decades, scientists knew viruses were in the ocean. They just had no idea how many, or what they were doing there. Then came the expeditions. Research ships crossed the globe, from the frozen Arctic to the boiling South Pacific. They dropped nets, collected samples, and filtered gallons of water. And when they brought that water back to the lab and ran it through a machine called a metagenomic sequencer, the results broke science. They didn't find a few hundred new viruses. They found 200,000. But here's where it gets weird. When they compared these new viruses to every known viral database in existence, 90% of them matched nothing. Zero. No record. No relative. It was like opening a library where 9 out of every 10 books were written in a language nobody has ever seen. So the question became, what are these things? Are they dangerous? And why haven't we seen them before? Here is the part that should make you lean closer. Some of these viruses carry genes they have no business carrying. In those same samples from the Chinese seas, scientists found viruses loaded with genes for antibiotic resistance. Think about that. Viruses aren't bacteria. Antibiotics don't kill them. So why are they carrying the instructions for antibiotic resistance? The answer is terrifying. Viruses can pick up genes from whatever they infect. If they infect a bacteria that is resistant to antibiotics, they can grab that resistance and hold onto it. Then they infect another bacteria and pass it along. The ocean is becoming a swapping meet for drug resistance, and viruses are the couriers. And the closer the samples got to human populations, to coastlines and cities, the more of these resistance genes they found. We are dumping antibiotics into the ocean through runoff and waste, and viruses are learning from it. They are building a library of chemical weapons, and they are sharing it with each other across the entire planet. Now let's go back to that glass of seawater for a moment. That glass doesn't just contain random viruses floating around waiting for something to do. It contains an organized, structured system. To see it, you have to understand something called the viral shunt. That sounds complicated, but here is the simple version. Every day, tiny microbes called prochorococcus are doing something amazing. They are producing oxygen. In fact, these little guys produce 1 out of every 5 breaths you take. They are the lungs of the planet. And viruses absolutely love to kill them. When a virus attacks and blows up a microbe, all the good stuff inside spills out. Carbon, nitrogen, nutrients. This should be a disaster, right? The oxygen factories are being destroyed. But here is the twist. Other bacteria swarm in and eat that spilled meal. They gobble up the carbon and release nitrogen. That nitrogen acts like fertilizer for the surviving microbes. The microbes that didn't get infected explode in population. They grow faster. They produce more oxygen. Without viruses, the system clogs up. The nutrients stay locked inside dead cells. But with viruses, the system runs at high speed. It's called the viral shunt, and it proves something shocking. Viruses aren't just predators. They are the engine that keeps the ocean alive. That means every fish you see, every whale, every coral reef, they all depend on a massive, invisible killing machine. But if that's true, what else are these viruses doing? This is where the deep sea comes in. Scientists didn't stop at surface water. They went deep, really deep. They drilled into the seafloor, extracting cores of sediment that have been sitting there for thousands of years. And inside that mud, frozen in time, they found something that made even the hardened researchers step back from their microscopes. They found 2,200 potential viral pathogens. Viruses capable of infecting animals. But one discovery stopped them cold. Buried in sediment nearly 8,000 years old, they found a relative of a virus you've heard of. Smallpox. Smallpox is gone, eradicated from the human population. But its cousin was sitting at the bottom of the ocean, preserved in the mud, waiting. Now, before you panic, this virus likely can infect humans today. It evolved to infect something else, maybe a long-dead marine mammal. But the discovery raises a chilling question. What else is down there? The deep ocean is the largest museum of ancient and extinct viruses on Earth, and we are only now opening the doors. Scientists estimate that we have sampled less than 1% of the deep sea floor. That means 99% of that museum is still closed to us. Still sitting in darkness, still holding whatever has been sinking to the bottom for millions of years. Let's talk about one of those 200,000 new viruses. It doesn't have a cool name yet. It's currently called a Nipomfusiviridae. But what it looks like, that's the story. Most viruses are roundish, or they look like little lunar landers. But this one is shaped like a spindle. A perfect geometric football. Why does that matter? Because shape tells you how it attacks. This virus is built to infect something called archaea, not bacteria. Not plants, archaea. Archaea are ancient. They are the extremists of the microbial world. They live in boiling water, in acid, and deep in the ocean floor. And these archaea are responsible for the nitrogen cycle. They control fertilizer for the entire ocean. And now we know they have a predator with a unique shape designed specifically to take them down. The discovery of this family was so significant that scientists formally classified it as an entirely new branch on the viral tree of life. That doesn't happen often. To earn a new family classification, a virus has to be so different from everything else that it doesn't fit anywhere else. And here it is, floating in the ocean, probably for millions of years, while we just now bothered to notice. But that's not the biggest find. Pun intended. Scientists also reanalyzed old data and found 230 new giant viruses. Giant viruses are different. They are so big, they used to be mistaken for bacteria. And these giants carry genes they shouldn't have. Some of these giant viruses carry genes for photosynthesis. Think about that. Viruses can't photosynthesize. They're not alive, but they carry the instructions for it. When they infect an algae cell, they hijack the cell's machinery and force it to pump out energy. The virus isn't doing the work. It's using the cell like a puppet. This means these viruses can control algal blooms. They can decide when the ocean blooms green and when it dies back. They are pulling the strings on one of the largest biological events on the planet. Imagine looking at a satellite image of the ocean from space and seeing a green swirl the size of a country. That swirl, that massive bloom of life, might actually be a graveyard. It might be the result of viruses hurting their prey, manipulating them into growing so they can be infected and harvested later. If this video made you feel small, good. That means it worked. Hit that like button if you want more deep dives into the hidden world around us. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.